So in this segment, we're going to be talking about GP's practice operator with 500,000 patients passes into the hands of a US insurer. So this is a private company here. The way GPs are handled in this country is a bit weird. It should all be controlled by the public. Really, I mean, not the public, but it should be controlled by Public Health England, which should be controlled by the government. Like, I don't understand why we have so many small sort of departments and weird things like that. Why we have all of these weird like sort of groups and things. It's just a very stupid, archaic system. So one of the UK's biggest GP practice operators has quietly passed into the hands of the US health insurance group, Centene Corporation, prompting calls for an official investigation into what campaigners claim is privatisation of the NHS by stealth. I mean, yeah, this is probably the most brazen example I've seen for a while. So the merger is expected to create the largest private supplier of GP services in the UK, with 58 practices covering 500,000 patients. A coalition of doctors, campaigners and academics has voiced concern in a letter sent this week to the Health Secretary Matt Hancock, asking him to order an investigation by the Care Quality Commission. Oprose Health, a UK subsidiary of Centene, has recently taken over the privately owned AT Medics, which was set up in 2004 by 6 NHS GPs and runs 37 GP practices across 49 sites in London. Oprose currently operates 21 surgeries in England. I don't understand why we have this weird system that we have. It doesn't make any sense. It's just bizarre. Objectors are concerned because they claim the change of control was approved for 8 practices in London boroughs of Camden, Islington and Haringey in a virtual meeting on the 17th of December, which lasted less than 9 minutes, during which no mention was made of Centene and not a single question asked. So this was done for, this was just a courtesy call by the looks of things, just to make sure things go by the book without actually going by the book. So the campaign group Keep Our NHS Public. There was a bit more here. The approval was granted by the North Central London Clinical Commission Group, a local NHS body that purchases health services from GPs, hospitals and others using taxpayer funds. I mean, I don't understand why they're buying, services. Like, it doesn't make sense, the system that we use for GPs. It's really weird and it's not great. The campaign group Keep Our NHS Public, Doctors in Unite, Alison Pollock, clinical professor of public health at Newcastle University, and others have written to Josephine Sauvage, the chair of NCLCCG, urging her to block the change of control at AT Medics, which has made £35 million in profit over the last 5 years. So, it doesn't make sense that a GP's place would be making profit. Like, it shouldn't be run like this. During the meeting, so AT, let me make sure actually, who are AT Medics? So yeah, it's very strange that this company that runs GPs should be making these sorts of profits over the space of 5 years. It's a lot of money to make. So it's a very stupid system that people are making money from. That 35 million could have gone to hiring more GPs, building more facilities and stuff like that. During the meeting, AT Medics indicated there would be no change to the board of directors according to the draft minutes of the event, which were approved last week. However, despite the pledge, the change of control was effected when all 6 AT Medics directors resigned on the 10th of February and 3 new directors were appointed, all of them also directors of Oprose. The latter include Professor Nick Harding, who is the Oprose Chief Medical Officer and practicing GP, and Samantha Jones. So there's something really fishy going on here. The letter to Hancock said, whilst we imagine you will not be sympathetic to those of us who consider that US health insurers have no place in the provision, not the best way to start your letter. We ask you to consider carefully the reasons for our request. Most of the CCGs have published nothing about the significant change and held no meetings in public. This matter is an example of the privatisation of the NHS by stealth, to which we have consistently drawn attention and to which you have consistently dismissed. Pollock told The Guardian, what we are really worried about is changes in the model of care and quality of services, especially in areas of high deprivation. Practices may employ fewer GPs, which they do now, can tell you that firsthand, and they may bring in substitutes for GPs like pharmacists and nurses. There may be cuts in services and reduced access, for example, closures of branch surgeries. Oprose confirmed the change of control, saying the care that we deliver to our patients and the services access through our surgeries will not change. We have followed all the, this is a bunch of rubbish here, saying that we followed the rules and all that stuff. Opera said only those involved in delivering care had access to patients' data, and that data would not be shared with third parties unless obliged by UK law. Liz Weiss, the Director of Primary Care and Health Commissioning for NHS in London, the ownership of the company of AT Medics Limited has been transferred after consent was given by the relevant commissions. Patient care remains unaffected by this change and patient data is protected. I doubt patient care will remain unaffected. I can see them, very much getting rid of, a couple doctors and then bringing in, a pharmacist or a nurse and things like that and calling it a day, because nurses are way cheaper to hire than, doctors and GPs. The Department of Health and Social Care said the NHS has always involved a mixture of public and private provision, and it was not for sale to the private sector. I mean, by definition, it is for sale to the private sector if you're handing up private contracts. Also, it's the degree to which private and public provisions are being, used. You're doing using far more private provisions, using far more private companies to do this. So it's very obvious to see that you are looking at privatising the NHS by stealth, and this is a key marker of it, to be honest. 500,000 patients, are passed into the hands of US health insurers. So, and we know how these health US companies run their businesses. It's a very scary system. And so, look, if this happens broadly throughout the UK, I've seen firsthand, the issues with GP surgeries. The one, I only have a few in the area I live in, and one of them closed down. So my whole family and a lot of people in the area will move to another one close by. But you've got rid of one GP surgery for a lot of people within the postcode I live in. So it's just a nonsensical system, to be honest. Getting a GP's appointment is a nightmare, anyways, at the best of times. So these people here, if their GPs are gotten rid of and they hire more nurses and pharmacists and stuff like that who can't give you the care and the level of attention a GP can, it's not going to be great. Especially since I don't know if nurses can offer referrals to hospitals. I know that pharmacists can't, so I don't know if nurses can actually do that. Nurses that work within a GP surgery. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.